What was your life experience before getting on a path, before diving deep, and before doing the work?
A lot of uncertainty, fear, doubt, not thinking I would ever be where I'm at now. So my own belief systems were quite small and my thoughts were quite small. As an example, just an insight into how my brain was working. My dad was trying to tell me, like, become an engineer. They make about 80 grand a year. That'd be great. And to me, that felt like so much money that I wasn't worth it. That's where my belief systems were prior to the work. And once I started working on myself, I started to break through a lot of barriers. And I started to get curious and explore, and then just deep down the whole rabbit holes and stuff.
Welcome to Life Mastery Stories. I'm Patricia. Over the last several years, we have worked with incredible human beings from all over the world. And today, I'm going to introduce you to someone that's no different. Matt Campoli is the CEO and team lead of Residency Group Real Estate. He's the host of 2 incredible podcasts and the co-founder of The Coffee Party, an international movement creating sober spaces and changing the way people interact with each other across multiple cities. In this episode, Matt shares that by discovering unconscious patterns through the Life Mastery method, he was able to elevate his relationships, businesses, friendships, and the connection he had with himself. If you're curious about how you can expand all areas of your life, you're going to want to listen to him. He's pretty amazing.
I am here with Matt Campoli. Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, the Matt that everyone else sees.
Yeah, sure. So, Matthew Campoli, I am in the real estate business. So I run a small little real estate team. And I host a real estate podcast called Price to Sell, which I've had you on. So now roles are reversed. And, yeah, essentially that's been my journey. Also big at self-development and, the life journey and my life's purpose and all that. So, big into exploration
Right.
with you
Mm-hmm.
and others as well. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So,
Beautiful.
yeah.
So before beginning your journey of doing the work, because you've had a very successful career, there's so many that will look to you and feel inspired. And sometimes there's so much that we can't see. What was your life experience before getting on a path, before diving deep, and before doing the work?
So a lot of uncertainty, unknown, fear, doubt, not thinking I would ever be where I'm at now, essentially. So my own belief systems were quite small and my thoughts were quite small. So my journey started pretty young, so I'm lucky.
Yeah.
But through university, which is when I was, I guess, unconscious, everything, I would just had no idea what I wanted to do. Going the classic route of listening to whatever my parents suggested I do. And, as an example, just an insight into how my brain was working. My dad was trying to tell me, like, become an engineer. They make about 80 grand a year. That'd be great. And to me, that felt like so much money that I wasn't worth it, that money. So, that's where my belief systems were prior to the work. And once I started working on myself and expanding, I started to break through a lot of barriers. So to where I'm at now. So yeah, for me, it began, I'd say around really, really right before I started real estate. So at the end of my university career, just graduating, getting my real estate license. And while I was a barber at the time, that was my hobby / business. Luckily, a lot of my clients introduced me to spirituality and consciousness and all these things. And I started to get curious and explore, and then just deep down the whole rabbit holes and stuff. Yeah.
And I've said this to you many times, but I love the way you seek.
Yes.
You're someone that has such a hunger for truth and learning and growing and constantly wanting to learn and grow more. So
Yeah.
it's really quite extraordinary.
Thank you.
We met in Costa Rica. I was hosting a relationship workshop at Zarik's retreat. Tell me what had you want to work together? What was it that interested you?
So initially at that time I was in a relationship and, looking back now, at the time, we just weren't in sync. A lot of wrongs I did, and, a lot of things I didn't agree with on the other side too. But the one thing I remember asking one specific question, which essentially had me wanting to learn more, which was, what if they don't want to do the work? And, he kind of told me that, that's up to you, a decision you need to make. And when I got home, yeah, things just weren't good. And the first person that came to mind in terms of, I feel like she could really give me proper guidance. And what I was seeking was, help with the relationship. Instead, it was just a deep dive into me and realizing, okay, I'm wrong. I'm actually wrong here. I'm wrong here. Oh, this is my fault. Oh, this is me. And very happy that we did that. So
It's so good. And I love how you embrace that,
Yeah.
like you were here for it.
yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's my next question. What were some of the things that you expected kind of going into it thinking, oh, let's fix this relationship or let's like solve this problem versus what actually happened?
So, on paper, relationship coach, I'm like, cool, I'm going to learn how to be better with this relationship. Not like essentially the thoughts were, let's move forward
Yeah.
with help. Instead, we had to peel and go back into just me. And the work was just about me, no one else. The only thing I control is myself. So that's what it ended up being. And then it just kind of like a huge just awakening of all the things and all the areas of life where these patterns that I was discovering were showing up, not just relationship wise, but family, work,
Mhm.
business relationships, all the things. So what my initial thoughts were and what ended up happening, completely different. But I wouldn't change it for like, this is what actually ended up happening was way better. And that's why we continue to work together. So
Right.
yeah.
And, we go back pretty far and it goes pretty deep. What was that journey like? Going back and like identifying your inner child and your false self and really deconstructing everything about who we are in order to create our lives. What was that journey like for you?
It was great. Like life changing for sure. I think uncovering the reason Matt is the way he is now to compensate for my younger Matt, who was in pain all the time, makes a lot of sense. And I catch myself all the time now. So it's like I stepped outside of my current body, and now it's just like an awareness of how I operate on day to day. And, having that awareness is super helpful in all things now, because I know when I'm out of alignment or I'm out of integrity or just not operating with how a true authentic Matt wants to operate now versus before, just kind of blind tunnel vision, just going about life however I thought I needed to. And that was very unconscious. So
Right.
yeah.
So when there was like a deep lack of consciousness, when certain things were out of your view, what problems did you see arise for you? Like, what did you notice what was not working?
So the relationship for one, um, yes, certain things I was just saying yes to all the time. Certain things that just didn't serve me anymore. Uh, Learning how to say no, the most powerful thing I've developed, and setting boundaries, most powerful thing I've developed. I'd say, because I was wasting a lot of time just doing things that just weren't serving me or going down paths that were essentially putting me back. Um, I find that I'm more sensitive now to people. I guess that's just as I evolve in this, and a lot of people can probably relate, but I just can't go into the environments I used to go into without feeling weird now and wanting to, I just don't want to be in those anymore. I'm much more introverted for the better. It's like I'm spending my time watching TV, just like you said, I'm just seeking. So like, what else can I learn to like further develop my life, myself, help people around me, and truly uncover like what I'm really here for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that part has been so extraordinary because I've watched you do that so authentically. Let's talk more about some of those shifts. So one of them being like becoming more discerning with who you spend time with, the environments you're in. Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So I'd say my circle got a lot smaller. Um, I only really want to spend time with people who fill me up and fill my cup up. Uh, I've always been big on the saying, like, if you're the smartest in the room, get out of the room. Um, Now it's like, if I want to be in a room where people are much smarter than me, but also have much higher energy than me too. Not necessarily like just putting myself in rooms with people who are successful on paper, but if I can, I'm not really driving with them. I'm not going to just stick around like I used to just because I know on paper these guys are successful.
Right.
I need to be with them. So, yeah, very selective. And I feel like I found my tribe naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And
You've got a beautiful group of friends that are doing this work. And
all doing it. And
how did that shift your relationship? Like being around people who are like in the work, in a practice, noticing your friendship before or after. What's that been like?
oh, massive difference. Yeah. Like I can speak on Zoe specifically. Um, and knowing him since he was probably 16,
Yeah.
17,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's 29,
Mm.
28. So good chunk of time.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And just knowing him, how he was before and what our conversations were, we would always spend like an hour on the phone together versus what our conversations are now on the phone. Completely different. We keep each other like, in check. So it's not like how it used to be like, hey, we're going to go out and party tonight and let's do this and this. Let's go to this club. Now it's like, should I go for a 5K jog or should I meditate or, like, it's like, what food should I eat today? And it's always just like, how are we going to get better? And like, how can we also intertwine in something together? Cause we're so aligned that like even a business makes a lot of sense. So yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
I think watching you guys like create magic together and have this like vibe, but this tribe vibe that like there's just so much more to it than what may have been there before or how some friendships come together.
Yeah.
So it's been really beautiful.
And just to add, it's just funny how without even knowing we found each other,
Yeah.
right? Like some of the other people you're working with, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
And I just started hanging out with them.
Yeah.
And we just started to click,
Yeah.
but we didn't know we're on the same journey.
Yeah.
But we're clicking for some reason.
Yeah.
And then that leads to like, let's go on vacation together.
Yeah.
Then we end up in this vacation environment. And then in a vacation, you're with them more. So these conversations are developing in deeper and deeper. And then one thing leads to another, like, oh, you have a coach. So do I. Who's yours? Oh, this is what? Same person. So just like the synchronicities are crazy too.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to ask you more about that because it was like such a special story. You'll notice energetically what people are in your life,
Yeah.
how it feels when there's alignment, when they are on a journey. And I've watched a beautiful group of your friends go through this deep transformation and at times not know they were on the path or not know that you guys were doing the work. So tell us what happened when you guys were in Greece.
Okay. So, Maddie, who first
Over here today.
yeah, so Maddie Unique, you guys know, just started to align with him more and more through Zoe being like that middle piece.
Yeah.
And so we all planned this trip to Mykonos together because we aligned on the experiences that we wanted to have together in that environment. And I remember after one night, we were just back at the hotel and, listening to music. We're all kind of like vibing out. And we started to get into this conversation of life. And he mentioned that his path started about 2 years ago. And, he's with this beautiful woman now. And she's like a fantastic influence on him, but I can see for sure. And then I asked him, I said, oh, you're a coach? He said, yeah. I'm like, who is it? He's like, Patty. I said, Patricia? I'm like, from BC? He's like, yeah. I'm like, me too. So it was just like, because of his language he was speaking. And I'm like, I say these words too. Like this, you speak my language, And then after that, it was just like a huge, huge hug. And we just like appreciate each other so much more because like it's in his work. So it's like a big respect thing. Yeah.
And where do you think men have been done wrong? Like, where do you think men struggle the most and sometimes even struggle in asking for help?
I think that's in itself huge.
Mm.
Just an ego thing. Like as men, we're taught to be this rough exterior of tough. We don't need help. We shouldn't ask. Be weak. Don't show weakness. Ego, success, power, money, all these things, right? So I think the social construct around how a man needs to be and show up, and a lot of stuff on social media too that don't really help, especially like the younger generations. But yeah, I think that's why a lot of people behind closed doors are suffering because they just feel that it's weak to ask for help, and they don't want to even bother. So it's just like, let's shove it under the rug, shove it under the rug, close the door, throw the garbage in this room, and just shut the door because I'm mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what do you notice this like culture's idea of a man, like ego success, this machoism versus what you're discovering has you feel like alive and connected? Where's the gap? Where does culture have it wrong?
I think, it starts with the generations and how we're taught. Me coming from a European family, very old school. Definitely completely different worlds in regards to how things need to be. But there's a good friend of mine, Nico
Okay.
Cannon. He said something really, really well about the levels of a man, and like it's like level tier one's the unconscious man, just living to societal norms and how things should be. And then level two is when you start to smell the garbage in the house of the room with the light off and the door closed, and that's all your stuff essentially, and it just sticks, but you're starting to like smell it, and like, where is this coming from? And then you open that door and you find this, okay, I gotta take this garbage out, and then that's like the journey.
Beautiful.
So I think a lot of men out there are probably smelling the garbage, just not doing anything to take it out, right?
What would you say to a man who's like silently struggling or dealing with stuff, not talking to anybody? Like, what advice would you give him?
Just to get vulnerable and seek some help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, find someone, if you don't feel comfortable talking to a friend because they're gonna judge you, that's a problem too. All these men hang out with the same men, so we can't seek help with them because they're gonna be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Don't be a bitch, like, stop being a bitch. You're being a bitch, just like I had, and Zark have given this exercise. I did dinner with my friends, my childhood buddies, and I rented a room in Chibo, and when we got there, I took all their phones, I put it in the corner. I said, guys, we're gonna actually have a conversation today. And it's funny because conversation strictly first just went to football, because that's all we talk about. And I was like, okay, what's been beyond football? What can we talk about? Like, we've known each other since we were 8. And so I did some questions that were on the table, like talk about a highlight of the year, and somewhere like a place where you're struggling. And we all went around the table, and one of my friends started to essentially cry and break down because he's just been so depressed, but he's been scared to talk to us about it because he knew that there'd be judgment.
Wow.
Or he was scared of like a judgment, or like just, stop being a bitch, essentially. Like, that's the classic, like, don't be a bitch, So I think that's where it's hard for guys, especially. So to answer your question, maybe find someone who you look up to, maybe through social media, or someone who's somewhere you want to be in life, who you feel that you can talk to comfortably, and just reach out.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Patricia. If you're enjoying this episode and you're curious how the life mastery method could work for you, click the link in the description to learn more.
And you're someone who's dove really deep into, in such like an extraordinary way, I know I keep telling you that, like into learning from different masters and teachers and really trying to just evolve as a human being. Why has that been helpful for you to work with a coach, to work with someone who's guiding you on an area of life that might be new for you?
I just think having a coach in all areas of life is important. If the success leaves clues, right? So if they're somewhere where you want to be, clearly they've done something right to get there. They've learned along the way. So why not seek information from people who are where you want to be versus trying to learn on your own? And I think as well, there's again, back to society and social media and information. There's so much out there that I think people will just get like analysis paralysis, trying to just research on their own. So I think having a coach specifically niche into where you're looking to be is super helpful to streamline your growth versus just sitting in confusion, which could cause anxiety and cause all these other emotions in your body, who are just, as we know, not the best to live with. So
Totally.
yeah.
What's an example or a time where you can remember where like you might see default Matt, like subconscious mind Matt show up and you shift it and you were like, you know what? No.
Yeah. I think so. It can be relevant now, but and like when I'm at the gym or I drive for walks, like I'll notice, like, I people watch, and especially when I'm with myself, I'll just notice like certain judgment here and there, and I'm always kind of like, stop, Matt, you're judging, stop, love, like these are humans, like So I'm sure a lot of people are like that, just live unconsciously, consistently look at that person, just like a judgment thing. So that's stuff that always will pop up in my head. Then I'm like, oh, got it. That's actually a beautiful human being, you know?
I love that.
Uh,
See that.
yeah.
Mm.
So like stuff like that. Some other patterns of mine, like around like scarcity, things like that, that stem from my childhood and how we grew up, like my family. So like the fear and like not having money and all those things. That's like, yeah, as you know, massive pattern of mine.
Hmm.
So
How do you combat that pattern? So, with all patterns, they're pervasive, right?
yeah.
We've learned that. They keep coming back. What does your practice look like when you're noticing patterns show up?
So yeah, when it pops in, I just kind of shut it down and just I have abundance. Just say certain things to myself.
And I hate the fact that you're even aware of it is like the first step,
Yeah.
right? You can see them where so many people are just in this default state. They're not even
Yeah.
present to their patterns.
Yeah. It's like a video game now. Like I mentioned this to you, but I'll just be in the grocery store and I'll look at something and I look at the price and I just the price will trigger this whole thought process, like a slippery slope of like, oh, like this, and then oh, like now I'm spending money and now okay, now financial stress and this I had payments and this so just it's funny to watch my mind do it. I just laugh at myself during that process now. I'll catch myself like 3 steps in. But yeah, just I'm sure I remember where I'm at. Super grateful for where I'm at. I've come far. So that's like my reframe.
And you notice with patterns that it doesn't matter how much you accomplish, they'll still be there,
Yep.
right? Like it's not about the amount or it's not about anything material, but it's just so deeply ingrained into our subconscious.
Yeah, they're powerful things.
Hmm. What about with family? We all had, being brought up with our parents. When you begin a journey, not everyone changes around you, right? How do you manage? It could be parents, it could be coworkers, it could be friends. Like, how do you manage those that are not on a journey that are still in your life?
I think what I've done the best is just leading by example. So I noticed, like, for my mother, as an example, she's caught on to everything that I'm doing and she's curious now. So instead of, there's this part of me that would want to just be like, hey, you need to do this. You're like this. I know why you're like this. I see this in you now. Stop this. Like, so I just don't do that. And
Yeah, does that work?
no, it's an hour. If they want to change, they will try. If they don't, they just don't. You have to accept them where they're at. But she's been super curious and consistently like wanting to grow and seeking out information with me. So it's been fun with her. It's been great actually. And
How have you felt, being with your mom if at times she might be in a pattern?
big time.
What's the practice you've taken on in order to be with her?
Just taking a breath. Because the old me would just snap, and then I would just lead to other things. And my fuse is short with her, very short.
And I think a lot of us can relate to that with
Yeah.
parents that our default can be like frustrated and short.
Yeah.
How's that evolved?
Just understanding like, okay, Matt, no reaction, like just not reacting to her when things happen. And I'll just try and put it gently. Well, hey, Matt, like, it's just, I'm not sure if you're realizing, but this is kind of what you're doing right now. And she's like, oh, darn it. I didn't even notice, I can talk to her like that now. So that's been great. Because before she would just take it personally and then now we get pissed off and just going anywhere.
Right. It's just
So-
like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's been a good shift for sure. I've been way more calm. And I think my calmness is just teaching her.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
You have been someone that's inspired so many people. And I think being on this perpetual journey of growth, sharing so authentically, you do that so beautifully, by the way.
Thanks.
Why is it important for you to like share with other people and to normalize sharing and speaking to what some people might be struggling with very silently?
Again, I think just leading by example. There are quite a few out there, but some may not resonate with all. So I feel like if by me just sharing simply, if I can help someone, even one person, like I'm happy. So I just do it more so in hopes that there are people maybe in specific situations similar to me that can resonate, and I can be like that outlet for them to reach out and ask some questions or get some help. Like I would gladly do that for others. So
And you really have for so many.
yeah, and I just do it simply because I just feel like there's people out there that can resonate,
Hmm.
and by me just sharing and being vulnerable, it might help some people, even if they don't reach out to me.
Right.
It's like a little piece of content I make just helped someone, and I don't even know about it. It's great. So
Totally.
mm,
What inspires you most when you think about like being your 100-year-old Matt? I know we've talked about this and looking back on your life. If you were to look back, what would be most important to you?
experiences, yeah, just like living the life I always wanted to live, anywhere, doing whatever I want, just complete freedom to just live the life to its whole potential. I'm obsessed with the whole potential, so that's why I'm always seeking more information and learning and all these things. But yeah, I think the experiences to me are the most important thing.
Yeah.
That's where I feel the most full, and yeah.
What are some of the things you would love to do right now? Like what inspires you?
So traveling,
Hmm.
um, being a solid leader in my business, watching my two partners in our business grow, Jesse and Chris, and evolve into beautiful humans, and how we show up for like my clients and them feeling that off of us. It's been a great thing, and so yeah, growing the business, growing as a human, traveling, experiencing the world, and new business ventures too. Like I'm always looking for those excite me too. Like I know there's more to me than just being a real estate agent.
Definitely.
So that is inspiring itself. Like
You're
whatever that
infinitely
is.
capable, Matt. You're
Yeah.
infinitely. I think those that meet you look at Lisa back.
Yeah. Like whatever those next steps are, it's
Mhm.
exciting, very exciting for me. So this is like where I'm most inspired. For sure.
So, knowing what you know now, that when you realize you're whole and complete already, what's possible for you and your life
Every
ever?
Mhm.
And what does that feel like?
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Deciding. It's inspiring that in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Beautiful. What are some of the like incredible things that have happened to you since doing this work?
Um, I think just the people that have come into my life.
Mm-hmm.
I think the how calm I've been, my health, um, my power. I just got more powerful because I maintained, and not before the old Matt would just like giving myself to everything and everyone. I just felt so burnt out. Um, so I think, yeah, just the being able to stick to a certain routine and just live with a lot of gratitude and happiness every single day, and people that I'm attracting into my life, and opportunities that are just coming out of nowhere that I never thought would even be a thing for me or just happening. So, um, yeah, like I said, just life's a game. It's like this big video game.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just playing in it. So,
What have
but
you noticed when you are in your abundant self energetically? And what shifts have you noticed around you? You could even call them miracles that have happened or synchronicities of things emerge in your life. Have you noticed the connection between how empowered you are and how connected to yourself versus when you're disempowered and how that's led to opportunities or possibility?
yeah, yeah, when I'm in my flow,
Yeah.
things just fall on my lap.
Hmm.
So opportunities, deals, um, doors that open up, people, uh, everything is just like flowing perfectly. And when I'm not, when I'm contracted
Yeah.
and working from this like place of like lack and fear, nothing works. Everything just, domino effect of just more and more and more and more of that. And it's not fun. And then I really catch myself like in that snap out of it, gotta get out of this. So,
Doing an authentic practice. So you're looking for those patterns?
yeah,
Yeah. Which is really beautiful.
yeah.
Awesome. You rapid fired me when we did your podcast together.
Okay.
You rapid fires the question. I'm going to rapid
Okay.
fires do it, okay?
Yeah.
We're going to rapid fire breakthroughs.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you in like categories to like, give me some of your biggest breakthroughs. So what were some of your biggest breakthroughs with work?
Do you work?
Hmm. Or your team? but in your work environment.
So not wanting to, deciding not to build a full-blown real estate business and team and just be content with where I'm at and, open up that space that I would have had to consume by building this, big old traditional real estate team with all the media stuff I'm doing now and all the opportunities that are coming out of that, which I align with it way more. So just having that awareness and not going with the ego of like, me be this team leader of all these people and showcase like, look at me, we sell this much volume in real estate. I don't care for that anymore.
Yeah.
It's more the what's exciting me the most, all these opportunities that are coming on the media side and still like so much unknown that's happening, which I'm super excited about. So that was a big shift for me because I knew that I think I just saved a ton of time. I think I saved a ton of years.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Breakthroughs in ready for the juice. This is a juice. Yeah. Relationships.
What kind?
Intimate relationships
Okay.
or people that you may be interested in.
Integrity. Telling the truth. As hard as it is.
Hear him now.
Yeah, as hard as it is. I've been in if whoever watches this and wants to ask me, I'll tell you specifically what I've done. It's quite ridiculous. Yeah. Telling the truth in the most insane situations has only got me further. When the old me would have been like, oh, I want to be nice to this person. If I tell them the truth, it's going to hurt their feelings, so I'm not going to tell them the truth. I'm just and that just was the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Does that ever work out?
Never.
Nah.
Makes things way worse. Yeah. Being super honest, I've been great.
Yes, love that.
Going to bed at night and like not have no worries.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I've just been like super great.
Peace.
Yeah. Even if in those times people want to just like walk away from me because I'm just where I'm at.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's cool. It's been great. Power.
Awesome. Okay. Breakthroughs with family.
Patience.
Patient.
Yeah. Definitely patience. And understanding, I think this with the mother's pain thing.
Yeah, like the mother wound.
The mother wound, yeah, understanding that. So like growing up in like the midst of a divorce, obviously in my sponge years from 1 to 7, I'm gonna take on the pain from both my parents because like I was in like the most, I guess, in the most chaotic of it all.
Yeah.
Of like the climax of the divorce is my mom's going through probably one of the worst times of her life. My dad's going through probably one of the worst times of his life. Obviously, I'm going to absorb this. I'm going to absorb this. And seeing how that's come out with me in my relationships and as a human now, I'd say biggest breakthrough would be like the awareness of that and then working on healing it. And then now seeing my mother in this whole different light as well. So.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Breakthroughs with friendships.
I think the boundary setting and how I spend my time with certain people. Some I'll give a lot more of my time because it's a lot more fulfilling, and some I'll just keep at a distance, but with a lot of respect and still appreciation for them. And I will just say no.
So
So
simple, right?
yeah,
Full sentence.
say no to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Breakthroughs in your future. What's possible for your future?
Oh, so much. Yeah, like there's still so much excitement and unknown around that. I just know that where I'll be is somewhere amazing and beautiful, and I just feel that with myself. I'm super excited, and the things that are just doors that are opening up are just so random and like, oh, okay, this can kind of maybe get me there, right? So, yeah, I think the openness around what the future looks like and surrendering to it all, and not being super attached to like how I'm gonna get there, has been the best thing for me. So, just gonna keep leaning into letting everything go and just whatever kind of comes my way, while it's still maintaining the business because that's growing too. So yeah.
Love that. Okay. If you had not done the work, or if you had not discovered like your inner child, your false self, your triggers, everything that emerged in relationships, what could have been your predictable future?
I probably would have been married already.
Happily or unhappily?
Unhappily married, probably have a kid. Just going down like what my friends have done, probably just jumped in there with them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying what they've done at first, just saying like I may have just felt forced to.
Yeah.
Based on society. And yeah, maybe not aligned with certain people, like still in certain work relationships that maybe I'm not really so aligned with, because just felt stuck there. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
just I think not where I'd be at in business at all. Maybe very simple, traditional job. Like I was going to school to be a teacher. Nothing wrong with be a teacher, but again, just didn't really have any high beliefs of myself. So probably a simple 9 to 5 and married with kids.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to picture that.
No, right now, yeah. Yeah.
If you were speaking directly to someone who's listening right now and they can resonate with like feeling disempowered, having reached a certain level of success, but life still feeling like unfulfilled or unfulfilling, and they're going through a lot of like chaos or problems in their relationships over and over again, what would you say to them about, but they've had no experience with the work? What would you say to them about the difference between stepping into consciousness and doing the work versus staying where you are? What advice would you give them if you were to speak directly to them?
So if for someone in a situation like that right now, I would say to take a step back and
Mhm.
in whatever way they feel most comfortable to start to explore. Best way is to seek help through a coach. I think, some people, like as a man, I like to work with steps,
Yeah.
and I think hiring someone will give you those steps. And if you're ready to make change and be diligent with it, because it is a lot of practicing and work,
Yeah.
to just do it and have no attachment to what's going to happen and just let all these mysterious forces at play come in and help you out, essentially. Um, because it's very hard to really speak of how that actually happens.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes, you have to
You
discover.
have to just discover it and
That's
do
right.
it. So yeah, I'd say hire a coach. The simplest way. Speaking to like the men out there.
Mm.
You can pick up all the books you want. You're probably still gonna be a little confused. You can, research all you want. Still gonna be a little bit confused. I think having uh, someone who's truly in their highest and knows what they're talking about guide you in those steps and you start applying those is like the simplest way.
Mhm. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Last question. What would you say to someone? So there's many people listening to this who might, some of the work might be new for them, some of the terminologies might be new. And what would you say to someone who may believe they don't have patterns? I don't have trauma. I don't have patterns. Kind of still living in like the construct of like things happen, I'm sad. Things good, I'm happy. It's sort of everybody else's fault. But yeah, what would you say to someone who's like, I don't have patterns, I don't have trauma, but they're dealing with symptoms that aren't nourishing to them? It could be like problems in their relationship, health issues, or other things. Would you say that some of this is out of our view? And yeah, what would you say to someone who had that?
I'd say take your finger and turn it around. Yeah, what's that I'd say? Take your finger, turn it around on yourself. And that's where it begins. So to stop, all these people on the exterior and blame, 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 blame. Like it's time to look in the mirror, point your finger at yourself, and start exploring there, or else nothing's gonna change. Yeah, and like wake up essentially.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Thank you for, taking the time to be here. And, I just think you're so extraordinary.
Thank you. Likewise.
And you are like just getting started. And I'm so excited to see like all the ways that that's going to unfold. And you have such a big heart that you share with generously with so many people in your life. And I know you inspire so many. So having the courage to be here and share yeah, it's going to mean the world, certainly to us and to so many others. So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
we missing anything else? No,
Oh, good.
you rocked it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Life Mastery Stories. If you are curious about how this life mastery methodology could work for you, click the link in the description. And don't forget to like and subscribe and share with anyone who you think might benefit from hearing it. See you next time.